figure out which one of these lights is coming on, because it's the driver's responsibility to keep that machine running. It's really bad to have an engine blow up in the middle of a firefight, because now you're immobile and you have to destroy the track and leave it. You know, if you're lucky, that's the way it ends. So sure enough, the tank in front of me rolled forward, I released the brakes, started rolling, and just as I was going to stop, I turned my head down and pulled the laterals back and locked it, and when I did, there was an explosion.
Inside?
No,
Oh.
well, I didn't know, at that point, I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
Even though I had the ear protection on, I don't know if you ever had one of those loud noise sensations where you can actually feel a shock wave go through your chest, because we're mostly liquid, and liquid carries your sound waves and shock waves very well. It slammed my head back against the crash pad, and I instantly went blind. It was a concussion wound. And then my vision came back blurry, and then I could feel something moving inside my head. It felt like my brain. And through the vision, I could see there were dirt and rocks falling back down to earth. And then I heard a second explosion, and then a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh. During the night, we had called in artillery on our position, around our position, because we had movement. Well, the North Vietnamese, we had extra rounds landing that we couldn't account for. The North Vietnamese had zeroed us in with 2 mortar tubes. So they were waiting for us. Once we got lined up, we got nice and bunched up. 7 rounds killed 3 and wounded 32. The first round was the one that got me. It killed Cricket, blew him back off and down in the hatch. So anyhow, so when I saw that we realized we were under a mortar attack, I herringboned again, because often that would precede a ground attack as well. Then I thought, I'm going to black out, because I felt myself passing out. So I grabbed the emergency release, dropped down to the bottom of the hatch. I was still trying to stay conscious, because they need a driver. If this machine needs to move, I'm the one in the hatch. I'm the only one who can they can't get you out, the way the thing was built. So the round stopped. I thought, okay, I'm still alive, whatever. I remember having this vision. It wasn't fear, but I had this weird vision. I saw my mom and my dad and 2 sisters crying over a flag-draped coffin. Me, I realized I was going to die. I felt what I was feeling was dying, because I was losing what had happened, being so close to the explosion, probably from this far away to me, to an 81 millimeter mortar. A piece of shrapnel had hit me, the top of my helmet right there.
Well, thank God your head was down.
That's exactly where I'm going.
What did you say?
It went through my helmet.
His head was down.
So this has got the velocity of a bullet.
Up.
Went through my helmet, hit me right here, traveled 3 inches, cut a groove in my skull, and exited out the back of my head. Well, the shock wave blew my whole scalp up in an area about that big and detached it from my skull. So I could feel all this movement and stuff, and I finally realized, okay, maybe I'm going to survive this. So I hooked my thumbs under the helmet and rotated it off, and when I did, it went blind again, because all that blood had collected up there. It ran down my shoulder blades, into between my butt cheeks, into the seat. I was sitting in my own blood. It went into my eyes, which instantly made me blind again. So I'm trying to get because your eyes start watering. It stings. So I'm trying to retain my vision. Everything's pink, because I'm staring through the blood, because I'm still thinking they need me. I'm the driver. I can't go offline just because I'm in pain or whatever else, or afraid. And I looked down, and there's a piece of bone that long running down my chest. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, because I don't know what this thing has done. I think it's in my brain. So, yeah. So in the span of 3 minutes, the guy just greeted and where you from, man? Well, I'm from Carolina. Well, I'm from California. My name is Lonnie. My friends call me 1-4 or Willie or Lonnie, whatever you want to call me. Well, I'm Cricket. Shook his hand, and 3 minutes later, he's dead, and I'm headed into surgery. But went in. It wound up. My hard head saved me. But that night, I laid there in the hospital, thinking about it, and that light kept coming
Hmm.
to mind.
Oh,
um, That if I hadn't been looking down, and I did this halfway, every time I wake up, because my head hurt all night, I could find the entry hole through the bandages. I lift my head up, and every time I did it, it was in the orbital socket, which is a shot trap. Anything is gonna get funneled right into the brain. If I had not been looking down, it would have went right into my brain and probably into the back of the skull. It would have been instant death. That's a bit sobering. I couldn't fathom it. Of course, Bruce Barden died, a guy that had been with us for 2 weeks, and I'm forgetting his name. I probably shouldn't even say it. This is being taped in case his family hears this. And then Cricket, whoever he was, 3 died. So week and a half, 2 weeks later, the troop gets hit really bad. They want us back out in the field. I'm a walking wounded, so we go to the airfield, and that's when I ran into PT, and he announced his intention of taking his life. I want to get back to that vehicle, and I want to know why that light was coming on.
Right, God thing.
I want to know why that light was coming on,
Mhm.
and I want that helmet as a souvenir, because it slowed that piece of shrapnel down enough that it didn't go on into the skull, because my head was down. It did deflect some, and I have a ridge, you can feel it about that long where the scar is. But anyhow, so I got to the field. There's more to the story than that. The mortar actually hit my vehicle and blinded the TC that was taking my place, or would have been taking my place, and blew his fingers off. But anyhow, I got there, the helmet was gone, nobody knew where it was, and so I hunted down the guy that drove it the rest of that week or so I was gone. And I said, "Hey Arnold, what was with that red light coming on? What was it an engine? Was it a transfer? Was it a final drive unit going out? What was the red light coming on? Warning light." He goes, "What warning light?" I said, "Dude, there was the light came on 3 times. That's why I'm here. I was looking down when that mortar round went off
Wow.
and hit me in the head." He said, "I never saw a light. It never came on again." I think I said it in the book. What do you do with an experience like that?
Mhm.
good.
And it adds to the survivor guilt that 16 friends didn't live, but you live by a margin that small. Why? Whatever. So, anyhow.
Wow.
Do you have time for one real short one? I'd really like to.
Of course.
After we got out of Cambodia, after the incident with the tank rolling over and killing Craig Stevenson and hurting AJ so bad, TJ, we got ambushed in some thick jungle. And up until this point, we're really hardened, I admit it, cynical. I can't tell you how many bodies I had searched and didn't give a rip. I could go through a pair of somebody's pockets, as long as I didn't get blood on me, or I'm good. You know, I actually saw a friend sit on a body and eat lunch because he didn't want to sit in the mud. It's just, you either adapt to this or you go crazy.
Right.
You go crazy. So we got hit, came online, did our thing, and amassed quite a body count. So we backed out.
The enemies, right?
I'm sorry?
The enemy's body count?
Enemy body count. We didn't get anybody killed, but we did get 3 guys, I believe, wounded. So we backed out, called it, busted down an area because the helicopters couldn't land. So we cleared an LZ for them by pushing trees down. Got our guys medevaced out, grabbed some food real fast, and then 2 men from each vehicle. We formed a dismounted patrol, and we got to sweep the area we just fought because we're looking for weapons. We want to deny them of any weapons or ammunition, and we're looking for information. We teamed up in 2s. Can't remember who I was with.
And you're walking.
Yeah, walking. He was carrying an M16. I by then was carrying any other gun I could find but an M16. I decided I loathed that weapon.
A larger round then?
Yeah,
Larger
30
gun.
caliber. I carried a couple of AK-47s, an M2 full automatic carbine, one SKS, pistols, anything but an M16. I'm sorry. And I've had guys critique my book saying the author should have done more research. It was actually, they worked those problems out fine. They didn't work them out while I was there.
Right.
So anyhow, I had an M2 carbine with me. So we come up and sure enough, there was this guy laying face down, North Vietnamese. I didn't see any wounds. And since there was time that they could have booby-trapped the body, we were always very careful about how we moved anything. So the two of us probed around him, looked like he was clear, and also there was a concern that he may be faking it,
Right.
playing possum with a grenade, laying on a grenade, you roll it over and surprise.
Yeah.
Rolled him over, searched him, young guy, still don't remember where his wound was. So we rolled him back, searched his front pockets, rolled him back over. I reached in his hip pocket and he had a wallet, which I don't know why, I never thought of the enemy carrying wallets like Americans. So I opened the wallet, going through that, taking the money out, because he ain't gonna need it no more, right? And I'm going through the stuff, he had some papers on him, and I pulled out this thing, and it's a picture of this very attractive young Vietnamese woman and their daughter sitting on her lap. And it suddenly hit me that I wasn't dealing with gooks, dinks, another disrespectful name that we had for them. And they had their names for us, I guarantee you. GI was not said with endearment, Yankee or wherever else. But there I stood, or knelt rather, over some guy whom we just killed, having killed somebody's husband, somebody's dad. And anyway. I think God was getting my attention. I know He was. The light coming on, scripture that Jojo was sharing with me, letters my wife, to-be wife, was sending me, some of these experiences. I had over a dozen encounters, what I call near-death experiences. But finding this picture of this man who suddenly was a man and not just an enemy that needed killed, and I hurt for him, and the girl. We'd experienced this before when we were loading our own dead. There's a very special pain knowing that you're looking at somebody you know his wife's name, how many kids he's had. In the case of Tony, that he had a daughter on the way in one more month. You're looking at them, you know the circumstances of how they died. You're actually wrapping their body up and realizing right at this moment their parents are asleep on the other side of the world, not knowing their son just died. Or dad. But the enemy, that was a different thing. That was just meat. But all of a sudden, I found myself running headlong into the reality. These are human beings too. And of course, the rational defensive side comes out. Okay, Lonnie, wait a minute. If this guy was searching your body and found your wife's picture, I really doubt he would be all choked up. But you know what I did? I took the wallet, I folded his hands up into the best, position, best looking position I could do with a dead body, and laid the wallet on his chest. Hopefully his friends found him, and the picture made its way home to his wife. But that was a changing for me. It complicated things in ways I didn't like. And to be honest with you, and it's only because I'm a Christian now. There's a combination of guilt combined with the reality of, hey, that was war, you did what you had to do, other guys had to do worse, suck it up, you know. My biggest fear in heaven is meeting 4 men, not him. There was a 4th one I wound up having to kill as well before my 21st birthday. The only thing I fear about heaven is meeting those 4 guys. But again, the reality is it happens anymore. That's what war is about. So any of you couple of young people here, it's not glamorous. Young men, we want to prove ourselves. We want to answer the question, would I, or could I, if I had to? But don't go there. It ain't worth it. In many ways, it ruined my life. It impacted my kids. Definitely impacted my wife. She's as much a veteran as I am. So probably should stop there. It's getting kind of dark. But again, thank you. Even the VA doesn't want to hear these stories, and it bothers me. They told us no war stories in counseling. I'm like,
That's who you counseling?
yeah, the two counseling sessions they sent me to, they told us up front, no war stories.
I want to thank you.
So, well,
Dear God, thank you for saving Lonnie, so he could speak to us, speak the truth to us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Oh,